Good morning, everybody. It's morning where I am. Michelle Atlas here. And so if you're with me and you can let me know in some way, say hi, give me a thumbs up, something like that, it would be wonderful. And I'm going to jump right in to really respect everyone's time. I know we're all really busy. So I'm so excited today to be talking about one of the hottest topics that I know, which is how love and money, how the way we do love and the way we do money are extremely similar and where they intersect emotionally. So I've been talking for the last few weeks about money on Facebook Live and talking about money from the perspective of a very insight and discovery-based approach that uses archetypal patterns to better understand our relationship with money. These same archetypal patterns can help us understand our relationship with love. So you've probably all heard the expression that money is 90% emotion and 10% math. And so as we know, I'm sure it comes as no surprise to you that our relationship with love is also extremely emotionally driven. They both are. So here's some connections just to give you some grounding on this topic. The way that our relationship with money and love is reflected in how we give and receive to ourselves and to others. It's reflected in what we value and invest in. It's reflected in what we believe we deserve and what we believe is even possible for ourselves to achieve and experience. And beyond all that, it's reflected in what we even imagine as possible for ourselves, to have or accomplish in a sense in this life, and to express. So I could interchange the word money with the word love and be making all of those points, and you wouldn't know the difference, right? Because they're interchangeable. I could be saying the same thing about love that I'm saying about money. So I'm going to give you an example, and if you're here, if you would give me a thumbs up or say hi. I can tell that there are people here with me, but I would love to know who's here, and just say hello if you would. So I'm going to give you an example that illustrates this, and before I do, let me just say that if you've taken the Money Archetype quiz that I've been offering for free, and I'm going to share a little bit about how that all ties in, and if you haven't, you might want to. I'm going to put the link to the Money Archetype quiz, the free Money Archetype quiz, on this Facebook Live when I post it. So feel free to go take it and learn more about your money and love story, your personal money and love story. So let's see. So I'm going to give you an example of a particular case study. So a couple that I usually I do Crack Your Money Code intensives with couples often. And so one of the couples many years ago that came to me, Sue and Chris. And so I always start by asking, what's the sticking point with money, right? Because we think we're talking about just money. So Sue said. So Chris said, I want more hugs. And Sue said, I want Chris to stop spending so much. So we look at their archetypal patterns, right? And I'm asking about money, and one partner's talking about affection, physical affection, and the other is talking about spending habits, right? So in their mind, they're just inextricable. So we look at their archetypal patterns. Well, Chris, who wants more hugs, is a celebrity. And celebrities thrive on feeling appreciated. One of the ways that he feels appreciated is through physical affection. When that's not happening, he's going to end up expressing some of the more challenged aspects to his archetype celebrity by spending and overspending potentially. Whereas Sue, whose primary archetype was accumulator, who tends to hold on to money and be a great saver, and kind of a great steward of money, but can also hoard and be afraid to let go of it, was also hoarding affection when she wasn't pleased with Chris. And so the conversation took off from there, and we ended up weaving together the money issue and the love issue seamlessly, right? It was really one conversation. Once we put a light on their archetypes and they understood these patterns and how they were woven together, it changed their conversation. It became a much more objective and a much more compassionate conversation. And over time, what I heard back from them was that in their relationship, that it made them a better partner to each other and that their bank account was growing. Again, inextricable, right? So, one of the other components to this that I think I've mentioned before is that all this messaging that we receive about money when we're growing up, for many of us, particularly women, but not exclusively women, we translate those messages about money into beliefs about our worth, our self-worth. And again, you can only imagine how this impacts our love relationships. So I'm going to just, for those of you who will be watching later or who are with me now and have taken the archetype quiz and know your archetypes, I'm going to just give a quick run through here of how each of the archetypes, and we're talking, if you have the quiz and you've taken it, I'm talking now about your lead archetype, and that's the one that you scored the highest. And I'm going to go through a quick run through for fun here and give you a sense of how that archetype might be playing out in love and money. And so before I do, I just want to know if anybody has questions or comments, and is what I'm saying resonating for you who are here with me today? And for those who watch later, please do leave me comments or questions regarding how this lands for you, or if you've noticed these kind of connections in your own life and relationships. The thing is that once we better understand our relationship with, as we learn to understand our relationship with money, we are very organically also understanding our relationship to our worth. And as we understand our own relationship to our self-worth, we're also going to better understand how we navigate in love relationships. So I'm going to start with Maverick. We have eight archetypes here that are money archetypes, typically to understand our relationship with money, but I'm going to speak about them in terms of love and money today. So Maverick is a risk taker, and so for Maverick, when it comes to love, Maverick is a risk taker, tends to be a risk taker with money. In love, perhaps they might have a kind of well, I don't know how this is going to turn out or what's really going on here, but let's do it anyway kind of approach. And if what I'm saying lands as accurate for you, great. And if it doesn't, then there's probably a much more complex picture for you to understand. So, take what resonates and don't worry about what doesn't. For a connector, if you're a connector, connectors tend to turn a blind eye to numbers. Actually, they have difficulty paying attention to their numbers. They're not crazy about really managing their numbers, and so a connector in relationship may not ask a lot of important questions, may not know exactly what's going on, may not have as much information as they need to make a wise decision in love. Alchemist has a love-hate relationship with money. They tend to be very humanitarian. They are very generous when it comes to humanitarian causes, but there's ambivalence about money. Why does it really matter anyway? And so this might show up in relationships also in terms of this sort of, I want it, I don't want it, it matters, it doesn't matter kind of response. Romantic has a real joie de vivre kind of spirit about life. Tends to enjoy having fun with money, and maybe kind of impulsive when it comes to love relationships, and sort of, say it feels good, so let's do it, no matter what the consequences. Celebrity loves to hear appreciation, to know that they are appreciated, and loves beautiful things, loves things that are visually beautiful, and they like to appear really beautiful. And so in a relationship, they may like, to receive praise. They may like expensive gifts. Things of that nature might really appeal to them. Accumulator tends to be a fantastic saver, as I mentioned, maybe even kind of hoarding money at times, depending on where they fall on the spectrum. So in love relationships, accumulator might have difficulty letting go. Ruler likes to be the boss, and so ruler's a great boss, is a great business builder, has wonderful natural business acumen. And so in a love relationship, ruler, this expression, who wears the pants in the relationship, it's probably going to be the one with the ruler archetype. The last money archetype is nurturer. Nurturers are nurturing, wonderful givers, provide incredible quality, tend to be very generous with people, and to the point of over-giving and over-delivering. And so in relationship, they may be giving more than they're receiving, or they may tend to get into relationships with people who are not capable of giving back to them at the level that they are capable of giving. So there's your fun snapshot for today regarding how money and love intersect and are really inextricable. This is a deep and complex topic, and I'm giving you the extreme Cliff Notes version here on this Facebook Live. I'm going to be doing some free training coming up in the very near future. I'll be posting the link to the free Money Archetypes quiz with this post. If you haven't taken it yet, you'll love it. Go take it. Learn more about yourself, your relationship to love and money. And when you take the quiz, you'll also receive an invitation to a free live training, virtual live training that I'll be doing next week. And so it was called The 3 Keys to Women's Money Mastery. And men are most certainly welcome. It's just more of an insight discovery-based approach. I hope very much to see you there. So have a great day, everybody, and thanks so much for joining me. I'm going to just stay on for another second in case anybody has any questions or comments. I usually do these at 5 p.m. Eastern, and I think that's probably a better time for folks, so I may go back to that if I can. But if you're with me and you want to give me a thumbs up or ask a question or make a comment, please do. Okay, well, thanks so much and have a great day.